here today at the Jordan Wine Estate with Gary Jordan to understand how social media assisted the wining community from becoming a mining community.
Just give us like a bit of an overview of basically how it started, where you initiated the idea of actually going onto social media and using that to actually attack your problem.
Right, okay. First thing, props. Okay, this is actually what started everything. We first heard about African Exploration's attempts to be able to get prospecting rights to mine this part of the Winelands, both here and Durbanville, when this notice appeared in fact just after the closing date, so we realized that we had to act fast. The only way that I knew that we could do that with it snowballing and becoming a bigger issue that people would hear about internationally would be to be able to use social media to be able to help win this. The very first thing I did was set up a task force, called a bunch of the neighbors together and arranged for a meeting to be held at a local winery. This was now already a day after the first applications had to be in, but we knew that we could attack the plan that they were putting forward by the 9th of March, which was literally 2 weeks later. First thing after setting up the task force was that I said I would start the Facebook site, and we would use both Facebook and Twitter as a way of getting the message out there. I realized it was successful when I suddenly started receiving application forms to be able to object to this project myself, and eventually in the course of a few weeks I received from 15 different people. I had no idea. I also received these forms to be able to object to it, because it started to snowball. It meant that not only were what was initially just environmental media involved, but suddenly it became an international issue. Yeah, it was an incredibly powerful tool. Of course, the whole mining application since spread, not just from Stellenbosch and the Durbanville wine region, but also spread inland to Worcester and further up the coast.
Yeah.
And using all our contacts, we were able to not only stop that application, but also others that were in the pipeline. Had the application gone ahead, it would have been absolutely disastrous, not only for tourism in the Western Cape, but for South Africa in a whole. National pride was at stake, and here we knew we had to act pretty quickly, because everything you see around here would have been affected, not only by dust, but by noise, and of course once you've got a mine going in a particular area, you're not going to have any tourism.
If you take Facebook, it's the people that your friends on Facebook, but it's more about they've got 300 friends each as well, so that's where that snowball effect comes in as well with all social media. If you look at Twitter and all those different aspects as well, I mean, these people tend to forget that there's just millions of people, and the reputation that goes with your company with regards to managing that social media correctly as well. The importance of that too. Because I read, I think in this first week you had 6,000 likes on Facebook.
That's right.
That social media is powerful, but it's also hard work. You also need to get the right contacts and get it really out there, not just focus on locally, like you said. You need to go internationally if it's a big issue like that or a big problem that you need to resolve.
One of the very interesting things that I found, and it didn't matter what their ages were, because admittedly when Facebook started, it was mostly younger people who were using it as a means of communication. And this particular exercise showed that it didn't matter what age you were. There were a lot of people for the first time ever registered and went on Facebook because of this.
Because of it.
And they went on this to be able to get all the information like that. And we were putting it up by the hour as things developed.
Yeah, because you obviously kept everybody informed as well. I think that's another thing with the social media. You need to update it regularly. You need to keep people informed. Back to the media that you used Twitter and you used Facebook, and if I'm correct, we saw a couple of YouTube videos going up as well.
Bruce Jack, also a winemaker in the industry, also went around in various parts on his international travels and was interviewed by the media. Much of that went onto YouTube. And so it became very much of an international... To give you an idea what happened in our very first... This was now after 2 weeks of applications. This is what we got back from African Exploration and Mining, because it was part of the legal process that they had to do. If you can see the very fine type pages, and if you look, I mean, some of them they've had to condense, so you get perhaps a few hundred people sometimes on on a page, and these are all the people.
goodness.
These are all the various people who've actually went on because of Facebook and Twitter, and actually went on an objective.
And I can see it's from all over.
That's
it's not only
all over the
Stellenbosch.
world. Yeah.
Sure.
And that's the second volume because they couldn't bind it all together.
This just goes to show today that the effect that the social media actually has, and that it prevented our winelands from being turned into minelands, and the good things that actually came from this internationally and globally, and also the excellent wines that came from it, from the success of the application being successful from your side, the prospector and the outlier. Thank you very much, Gary, for a very interesting conversation today.